Hello everyone, this is Taryn with Wonderfully Made Handcrafting, and today I'm making my pocket Bible for the By the Well for God kit equipped by Jesus. Now, my favorite way to document these studies is usually in my interleaved Bible. However, in December, I did memory decks cards, and I've been doing a lot of mini pocket Bible journaling videos for my hymn studies, and I've also done tags for Theology Thursday. So I figured, why not do this whole month in my mini pocket Bible journaling kit? So these kits are sold by the Well for God. They include the fabric that matches the fabric for the kit, and they come with everything. So they are $18.99. They come with the Bible, which is New Testament and Psalms and Proverbs. And then they come with a bunch of different fabric swatches that I showed. And then it also comes with pocket journaling cards, which you can use to document throughout the month. Now, for me, I'm going to try to do every single day of this study. A lot of times I'm making these big elaborate pages in my interleaved Bible, and so I only get a couple pages done. So that's why this month I'm challenging myself to document every single day of the study. So 14 days, 14 YouTube videos this month, and just see how it goes. I will also hopefully be working in my interleaved Bible too, because there are some bigger stamps that I definitely can't live without using this month, like that globe stamp. I love that one. So I'm definitely going to be doing a couple pages in my interleaved as well, but my primary focus is to document each day in this mini pocket Bible. I'm also hoping that this pocket Bible can actually hold 14 days of my chunky pages. You know me, I cannot keep anything flat, so I know this is going to expand quite a bit. So just we'll hope that it fits. So I've used Coccoina glue to lay the fabric down on the front and back cover and also the spine. And now I'm just snipping almost little darts where I can slip them into the spine, that little area of fabric right there. That will be my last step, but I want to make sure to cut those little darts first before I move on. Now, By the Well for God highly suggests using this type of glue to cover your pocket Bibles in fabric. And so they do sell it in their shop. They have a 10-gram size and a 20-gram size. I've done 3 Bibles now almost completely with a 10-gram size. Originally, I thought I was only going to get 2 in, but you'll see here I almost completed with 3. I was in my last little stage here, and I'll show you when. So the 10-gram size does last quite a bit, and I am heavy-handed in my glue. So here I am folding up the edges. I do the 2 opposite sides first, and then I do the end. That way I can get a nice fluid kind of seam on the corners. However, this is where I got a little distracted. I was watching Gail on her live on Instagram, and I completely forgot to cut my corners because I was distracted, and I was just having fun watching Gail and talking to you all. So I forgot to cut a little bit off my corners. That just helps so there's not as much chunk on those corners, basically. If you don't do it, it's not the end of the world. It just helps me fold it in a little better. Now, I don't have any fancy clips or anything, but paper clips work just as good as anything. And so I grab a handful of paper clips, and how I keep it from moving while it's drying is just adding those paper clips to the 2 corners. And then I'm going to flip it over and start working on the other side. Now, I do believe that By the Well for God actually sold out of this specific mini pocket journaling Bible kit. However, they usually have some in stock of like Tim Holtz fabrics, which are always awesome. And then they sometimes have ones that match other kits, or like they just had one that was like a coffee theme. So they're always coming out with new pocket Bible journaling kits. So just make sure you keep up with their website. I will put a link down below that is an affiliate link that you can double check for new pocket journaling Bible kits. And with these kits, you don't get to choose the exact fabric that you want, but you do choose your own colorway, and they are always amazing fabrics, so you don't have to worry about which ones you get, and it's kind of like a surprise. I like that kind of stuff. So now I am going to fold those extra pieces of fabric down into the spine. I use a little bit of Coccoina glue, and then I unfold a paper clip, and that helps me just push that down, and I kind of rub it down into the spine so that the glue holds. I do get a lot on my desk with doing this process, and so I just keep a baby wipe handy. So now that I've covered this Bible in fabric, I want to dress it up. And so there was this wooden piece that was included in the Bible journaling kit itself. This was created with By the Well for God's Glowforge, and I really wanted to include it on this Bible. However, it was kind of getting lost when I just placed it on the Bible itself. I needed something to back it. And so I took an old canvas bag from last month's kit, and I cut it out and just backed it with some Fabri-Tac glue on the back side of this wooden piece. Now with this Fabri-Tac glue, I didn't want a bunch of glue oozing out onto the canvas. And so what I did is I put it on and then I smeared it around with my fingers. This is a very gluey, messy kind of project. So as long as you're good with getting a little messy, you should be good. I really liked how this creamy canvas helped distinguish this wooden piece from that floral fabric. Now it's not going to look so lost, but I still want to embellish this pocket journaling Bible a little bit more. So we're going to grab some lace and velvet trim. So this lace is a little bit stretchy, so it's going to work perfectly as I open and close this Bible. I am going to be using some Fabri-Tac glue to help secure it. And so I will just add that to the inner corner. I'm going to cover all this fabric and stuff up later. I just want to get all the ribbon down first. I had made that mistake previously. So I'm making sure to add all my ribbon and everything that's folding in to the inner cover first. Obviously, this lace has quite a bit of holes in it, so I know that when I put that Fabri-Tac glue to hold it, that I'm going to have to smear that Fabri-Tac glue down a little bit. So what I'm doing is just laying it on the fabric first, and then I'm rubbing my finger on it. That way I don't get clumps of glue, and it also doesn't stain the fabric as much. Fabri-Tac's not my favorite glue to use, but it's the best for this scenario. When I lay the lace down, I want to make sure that it's fairly taut, but not pulled too tight. And here I didn't realize that I had a little lump on the edge of the spine. And so luckily the Fabri-Tac hadn't dried yet, so I just moved it over and made it flush with the fabric. I'll cut off the excess of this lace and then fold it in and glue it down with a little bit more of that Fabri-Tac glue. And then we're going to move over to another ribbon. Now, this ribbon I got from Hobby Lobby. It is one of my favorites, is in the velvet trim area, and it is the skinnier version of their velvet trims. I love how it has a sophisticated look being velvet, but also that it's frayed, so it adds this like imperfection piece into it that I just love and crave. Now for some reason this trim did not want to stay down and it required a bunch of Fabri-Tac glue. I thought I would have enough with one line of Fabri-Tac because Fabri-Tac is pretty sticky and holds pretty fast, but this one just needed a little bit of extra love and a little bit more holding. As you can see here, when I did this side of the Bible, I was going to cut off the little excess to this trim and completely let go of all the Fabri-Tac that I had put on it. So I am making another whole line on this side and I'll just hold it for a little bit. Now it doesn't bleed through, which is amazing because I used a lot of Fabri-Tac, but I think this is thick enough where it doesn't have too much bleed through when you use Fabri-Tac on it. I'll move on over to the other side and tuck that edge of the trim in as well. I'm just making sure again that I have enough Fabri-Tac glue on that end piece to make sure that it holds it really well. I don't want this coming apart for a long while, so I want to make sure that everything is good and strong. And now I'm going to work on adding this emblem piece to the front of my Bible. Now I know this canvas has a looser weave, so I can definitely have glue seep through. And so what I'm trying to do is add Fabri-Tac glue to only the areas where there's wood. And so in case it seeps, you won't be able to see it. But I also use my finger to smooth out that glue across the whole back side, so there's a little glue everywhere. And then I'm just gonna hold it down, make sure to push it really nicely against that velvet trim and lace. And then we're going to work on something to secure this Bible together. So if you know me, you know that I like a lot of chunk on my Bible journaling pages. And so I need some ribbon or something to secure this Bible and hold it together. I know this Bible's binding is going to get super big and kind of spread out. So I want to make sure to have a little tie on the edge of my Bible. So I take this seam binding. Now I got this seam binding before By the Well for God started selling them. So you can definitely buy your seam binding from By the Well. It's probably much easier to grab it from them than buy a whole 100 yards worth of seam binding like I did. And as you can see, I got my whole desk messy, but it's okay. It cleaned up fine. I could have used a splat box, but I just wasn't thinking at the moment. So anyways, I dyed it with some chipped Sapphire Distress Oxide spray. And now I'm going to make sure to cut that in half, and I'll glue one side to the inside cover on the front and one side to the back side inner cover. Now I wanted to make sure that that seam binding was good and dry before I added it to my inner covers. That is because this seam binding, since it is dyed with some Distress Oxide spray, it can be water reactive. So that means that that glue could make it react, or, you know, any wetness could. However, I am making sure not to bring it out in the rain anytime soon. It'll basically live on my desk or a bookshelf once it's done. And so I'm not too worried about it in the future. Now I'm making sure that seam binding is lined up nicely with that velvet trim. That way I know that both are on the same level, so everything will look nice when you look on the side. The last thing I need to do to complete this pocket journaling Bible is add these inside cover sheets. Now these are cut exactly for what you need on the inside cover. By the Well for God is amazing in the little details. They just are awesome at that. So all you have to do is fold them. I use a bone folder, and then I'm going to use my Coccoina glue again and add those to both sides. I am going to only add it to one side at first. I decide personally to put it on the side that I'm covering the fabric because I want it to line up nicely there. But I also make sure that everything will line up on the actual inner cover that I am covering as well. Now, there's already a lot of chunk going on here, and so to make sure that this Coccoina glue has time to dry, I add my paper clips back on to the inner cover, so that way everything is nice and tight against all the ribbons and trim, and that way we don't have a gaping kind of hole right there. So now I'm adding Coccoina glue to the other side, and then we'll work on the other cover sheet. But the second cover sheet is actually where I ran out of my first glue stick of Coccoina glue. So you can see I almost got 3 complete pocket Bible journaling covers done with just this one 10-gram glue stick. So if you're looking for, you know, an idea of which glue stick to pick up, it basically almost does 3. So if you're just working on one pocket journaling Bible, maybe just grab the 10-gram size. However, after doing one, I'm basically addicted to creating these little pocket journaling Bibles. I just think they're so fun, and it's fun to create them, and it's a surprise to get what fabric you get. I just think it's really fun. So maybe just grab the 20-gram size if you're like me. So that is it, guys. I'll let this dry for a little bit, and then I'll take the paper clips off. And that is how I'm working through Equipped by Jesus this month. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can also find me over on Instagram at Wonderfully Made Handcrafting. I'll try to link everything I use down below in the description, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.